Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to our meeting today. It's so great to see you all. Tyler, if we could have a little bit more volume, that'd be great. How are you all doing today? Are you well? Beautiful day. Absolutely fantastic today. So for those of you who are visiting the club, my name is Alain Barker, and I am, just for today, the current president of the Bloomington Rotary Club. So I'm not an imposter, but this is my final day. Okay, today is June 27th. Isn't that amazing? And our vision as a club is to be a diverse, engaged community of leaders whose fellowship and service have a significant positive impact locally and globally. I love that. Rotary, as you all know, is a global network of 1.4 million neighbors, friends, leaders, and problem solvers who see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe in our communities and in ourselves. One of the ways that we do this is through the Global Grants Program. As most of you know by now, the Rotary Foundation has awarded $40,000 to Megan Gerhardt, who plans to pursue an Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters of Global Development Policy from 3 universities in Europe. Megan is with us, yeah. So Megan is with us, and she's going to say a few words. But before I do that, I want to just thank the incredible Jim Bright for having led this entire program over the last many years and made much of this possible. So Jim, our gratitude to you.
I'm much shorter. I also have to second that. I wasn't sure I was going to apply to the Global Grants Scholarship, and Jim Bright sat me down and said, "So when are you applying?" I said, "What?" And I never really had considered it. I had originally planned to join the workforce and maybe pursue a master's at a later date, but as soon as he started talking, he kept saying, "You'd be so good. And there's so many things you can do. And where would you want to go?" And I went, "I have no idea. Let's do some research." Now, my Rotary journey started in 2016, technically 2015. I was a Rotary Youth Exchange student to Taiwan, Go District 3510. And it was such an honor and a life-changing experience to do that. I skipped my junior year of high school. While most of my friends were worried about prom and applying to colleges, I was like, I don't know how to get home right now. And my phone died. Let's figure out how to take the bus in Mandarin. But those experiences really shaped what I wanted to do in the future. It made it so that I realized that I could do anything. I could go anywhere, and that there was way more to the world than my sleepy little town of Roanoke, Indiana. Population 1,500. But when I came to IU, I pursued several different things, and I graduated this past May after 5 years with 2 degrees, a degree in tourism and a degree in international studies. And I really, really thought hard about what I wanted to do and the impact I wanted to have on the world. And as much as politics scare me, and it's not something I want to go into, policy is really how the world changes. Policy is how decisions get made and creates the guidelines of how we live our lives, whether they're societal policies that are just implied and not legal, or the legal policies that have created systems that maybe I don't disagree with, or the people in this room don't agree with. But there's so many ways that we can change the world, and I decided that policy was the way that I wanted to go. So I will be leaving at the end of August to do my master's in global policy development, starting in the Czech Republic. I will spend the second term in central France, and then I will be in Italy for a term before completing an internship. And I've already reached out, and I am hoping that during this upcoming summer, I will be interning in Brussels with the IKEA Foundation. Fingers crossed. But I really want to thank everyone in this room, because there are so many people who have had a hand in allowing me to grow into the person that I'm becoming. And I know I'm not done yet, but I'm thrilled with the opportunity that has been presented to me. And I want to thank all of you for the contributions you've made to that goal. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Megan. And we look forward to keeping in touch with you. Lots of pictures, lots of photographs. Okay, we have a number of guests with us today. So I'm going to invite Teresa Clare to come to the podium and welcome our guests today.
Hello and welcome. So we have a number of guests today. So Megan Gerhard, thank you. And Ann Bright is a guest of Jim. So when you either raise your hand or stand so we can recognize you. Guests of Raj are Shelley, Sallee, Lisa Robinson, and Melissa Burgess. Sue Shandell is a guest of Winston Shandell. Jane Perry is a guest of John Hobson. David Sabah is a guest of Judy Schroeder. Elizabeth Thompson is a guest of Jim Bright. Heidi Schultz is a guest of Susie Graham. And Carol McCord is a guest of Alan Barker.
Thank you so much. Wow, all these fantastic people who are with us. Really, really great to see you all. Happy birthday, Erin Brewington. Oh, there's a guest. Oh, Joy, go ahead. Is there anybody who is?
Whitney Cordoba is with us. Is she? Can you hear me? Yes. Anyway, okay. And hi, Whitney. Hi. Everyone else, we're Rotarians.
Okay, great. Thank you. Getting back to birthdays. Erin Brewington's birthday is on Thursday. Happy birthday, Erin. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you. And then we have member anniversaries. John Bender, 53 years. 53 years. Isn't that incredible? Liz Irwin has been with us for the year, but she's an 8-year Rotarian. And then Craig Spence, 21 years. Congratulations to you all. Great. Okay, I'm going to invite Mike Baker to come and join me here as well. We have a number of Paul Harris Fellows.
We've been busy this year. Good afternoon, everyone. On this solemn, serious occasion, get my notes out here. So we have 4 members today that will be receiving a Paul Harris Fellow. We're going to start with Scott Walters. Scott, could you come up here, please? John Hobson, would you join us? Susie Graham, would you join us? And Linda Murray, will you join me? These are the 4. You may not have seen him in a while, but Scott's been a member of our club for 35 years. He is originally from Baltimore, so I guess he's a Baltimorean. Now, just so you know, he actually said that to me. I would not have done that. Scott had an MBA in finance from Loyola University, and he's worked in banking in over 44 years. He was with Monroe Bank, which most of you probably don't remember, that turned into a merger with Old National. He was there 32 years, where he retired in 2018 as a senior VP of wealth management. He's very involved and has been in the community all the years that I've known him. He's been involved with, pardon? Oh, I missed something. No. Oh, keep going. It was the Zoom. Okay. Yes. He's been involved with many boards, nonprofits, American Red Cross, United Way, Middle Way, Lotus, Community Foundation of Bloomington. He's an avid weightlifter and rumored nicknamed Arnold. He always says, this is a friend of yours, gave me some information. He always says, I'll be back when he leaves the gym. Scott has a large collection of wine, not that he's ever shared any with me. He's an avid golfer, loves cycling and travel with his wife of 48 years, Pam. By the way, who can outlift him? Yes, and this will be Scott's Paul Harris +3. John Hobson, been a member since 1985, so almost 38 years in our club. Actually, today, we're recognizing John for a Paul Harris Fellow he should have received many years ago, but somehow it got lost in the Rotary Shuffle. And it was brought to our attention and we figured out how to fix it. Since 2000, John has served as Senior Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of Indiana University Alumni Association and retired in 2010 after 37 years with them. He's had a hand in roughly 23,800 events that touch the lives of more than 1.4 million alumni and friends of Indiana University. John was awarded the IU Bicentennial Medal and President's Service Medal. Past presidents of IU Retirees Association, Advisory Board to IU, Wellhouse Society, member of the American Legion, IU Historical Society, Indiana Landmarks, Sycamore Land Trust, and in his spare time chases 9 grad kids around. Next, we have Glenda Murray. Glenda has been a member since 1991, is unofficially known as our club historian. She moved to Bloomington in 1984 as the redevelopment director of the city of Bloomington under Mayor Tommy Allison. After 7 years at the city, she became the president of the Bloomington Chamber of Commerce. I'm sure many of you didn't know that. In 1994, Glenda, working at Indiana University first in the School of Continuing Studies, and then from 2002 to 2014, she was program associate at the Poynter Center for the Study of Ethics in American Institutions. She's been a volunteer at the History Center about 30 years and was president for 4. She started serving as Monroe County historian in 2019. She served as our club president, served on various committees, and extremely active in all of our service projects. Whenever something comes up, you can expect to see Glenda there. For our Rotary Centennial, Glenda led the effort in finding pictures and a little history of all of our past 100 presidents for our Centennial publication. I've also been told that she's got one of the most amazing collections of amaryllis in the country. This will be Glenda's Paul Harris Fellow +6. Last but not least is Susie Graham. Member since 2013, Susie is Executive Director of Development, Ivy Tech Community College, at least until the end of this month when she's retiring. And she'll be heading off to travel some with her husband, Andy. Her 17-year career at Ivy Tech has included workforce development, directing campus's non-credit division, and eventually fundraising, a position she says was made possible thanks to many years of gift wrap and bake sale experience as a PTO and marching band mom. Susie has served numerous organizations in her 35 years in Bloomington, including Area 10 Agency of Aging, Lotus Education and Arts Foundation, and the United Way of Monroe County. Again, she's been very active in our club. She serves on this year's foundation committee with myself and 2 others. She's most recently been helping us come up with different ways to promote the Rotary International Foundation to our members. And she was a roundabout reporter recently. This will be Susie's Paul Harris +1. So I'm gonna need a little help with these. First, I'm gonna ask if you present this to Scott. John, this is your official certificate. Let me do your pen here, right here. This work. Poke a hole in your shirt. Yes. There you go. Find me in the book. Please join me in recognizing our latest 4 Paul Harris Fellows.
Thank you. Congratulations to you all, and thank you, Mike Baker, who was our president at that incredible centennial year, I have you say. It's incredible. So it seems like every meeting we induct new members. And so I'm going to bring the amazing Tracy Yovanovich up to the podium here to introduce our new incredible member and guest.
All right, it's that time that's fun. We get to meet new people. We have Hannah Hirsch, if you could please come on up. And we have a unique situation here. It's not an induction, it's a new category that we've created, a special honoree member, Bill Swinson. We'd like Bill to come up as well. And I think we'll start off with the bios, first of Bill, and then with Hannah.
Thank you. So while Bill comes to the podium here, or to join us here, I'll just start with an overview of his extraordinary life. Born in 2/22/22, that's 1922, right? February 22nd, 1922, in Buffalo, New York. He lived there almost continuously for 100 years. After graduating from the University of Michigan School of Engineering in 1943, Bill worked for the Bell Aircraft Company as a flight test engineer, equipment designer, and marketing executive. He moved with his family to Houston, Texas for 7 years to be the professional engineer and marketing liaison for Bell with NASA, focusing on the Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo projects. He was involved primarily with Apollo 11, when the first men on the moon used the Bell Agena engine, is it Agena engine? And lunar landing vehicle on their historic visits to the moon. What an exciting to be an aerospace engineer. Later, he worked as a consulting engineer for several Buffalo companies using his knowledge of stress testing on industrial equipment. For the final 12 years of his career, Bill was assistant dean to the University of Buffalo School of Engineering, advising and mentoring students entering their own professional lives. Bill has been a Rotary member for more than 70 years. Including president of the Buffalo Rotary in 1977-78. That was when I was 17 years old. He's also a 75-year member of the Freemasons, is a founding member of his church, a member of the Buffalo Antique Car Club, and has been active in community service wherever he lives. He has already initiated activities at the Stonecroft Health Campus, where he has lived since February of this year. Bill exemplifies Rotary values, and he's looking forward to making friends in Bloomington. Welcome. Sure, yeah.
Thank you. I'm impressed by the Bloomington Rotary Club and the Union building there you meet in. Beautiful. We have a more mundane Stadler Hotel or a restaurant to meet in, but we're close to Niagara Falls, and I take visitors to see the falls from the top and from the bottom. I went to Houston for 7 years, as your president mentioned, and this is one of my daughters that went to Houston. We lived in a neighborhood with Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin and all the other astronauts. And Lindy babysat for some of the astronauts' children. You get an inside view of what the family is like. Thank you very much for having me. I'm going to continue membership in the Buffalo Rotary Club, but I appreciate being able to come here once in a while with Lindy's help. Thank you very much.
Bill, whenever you want to be with us, we're very grateful for your presence. Okay, well, we have a new member as well, Hannah Hirsch. Welcome, Hannah. Hannah is a Bloomington Townie and third-generation Indiana University Bloomington graduate, holding a BS in Bachelor of Science in Public Affairs from the O'Neill School of Public and Environmental Affairs. Opening a fitness studio in 2012, Stonebreaker Athletics, not Human Breaker, Stonebreaker, right? Hannah believed in living light but lifting heavy. After meeting her husband over a barbell, they moved abroad to Belgium, where she studied philosophy at KU Leuven. A few years later, she bloomeranged back in 2018 and worked at United Way of Monroe County. After 2 pandemic babies, aged 2 and 8 months, she is currently working for Girls Incorporated of Monroe County in fund development and is also president of the Alumni Board for Leadership Bloomington of Monroe County, of which I went through that program. Yeah. So outside of work, you might catch her working on her homestead with her flock of Katahdin sheep, extracting honey from her beehives or collecting eggs from her chickens. Deeply passionate about her community's human and environmental welfare, she is so excited to join hands with fellow members of the Bloomington Rotary Club. Welcome.
First, I want to acknowledge the work that Aaron Davis did on adapting our script to make it more inclusive. There's some subtle changes throughout that he did a couple months ago. So see if you can figure out where he made those changes. But Aaron, I appreciate that. You're always looking and thinking the way we want to be in Rotary. So thank you for that. Hannah Hirsch, on behalf of the board and membership of the Bloomington Rotary Club, it is a great pleasure to welcome you as the newest member of the club. We look forward to the fellowship that we will share, as well as your participation in the club projects that make our club, community, country, and the world a better place. Though Rotary is not a political organization, Rotarians are vitally concerned with good citizenship and the election of effective leaders to public office. While Rotary is not a religious organization, it is built on those highest principles that have served as moral compass for people throughout the ages. Rotary is an organization of business, professional, and community leaders pledged to uphold the highest ethical and moral standards. Rotarians believe that worldwide fellowship and peace can be achieved when people work together and uphold the Rotary motto of service above self. Rotary activities exemplify the partnership, respect, and generosity that one would expect from people who believe they have a responsibility to help others. Hannah, you have been chosen for membership in the Bloomington Club because your fellow members believe you to be a leader in our community and because you possess the qualities to champion the message and principles of Rotary. You are a representative of your vocation and talents within our club and community. You have now become an ambassador of Bloomington Rotary, carrying the ideals of service to all within your sphere of influence. Our community will know and judge Rotary by your character and service. We will also look to you for inspiration as we strive to become better Rotarians. Michael will now pin you with the distinguishing badge of a Rotarian, your Rotary pin. We ask that you wear that pin with pride, not only to all Rotary functions, but in your many endeavors as a symbol of your commitment to Rotary ideals and our recognition of your contribution towards a better world. Fellow Rotarians, please rise if you are able and welcome our newest Rotarian, Hannah Hirsch.
Great. Thank you, Tracy. Well, there are a few quick updates that I want to get out of the way so that we can get onto our program today. First quarter lunch buddies. It's going to be the first quarter of the year again. How amazing. So the lunch buddies list is on your table. Please take a look at them. We'll be sharing with them with you as well. And go out for lunch, go and grab a beer, go and spend some time with a fellow Rotarian and get to know them a little bit better. Aaron Davis, who is back with us. Aaron, great to have you. He is gifting, you know, his book, his Exposing Systems of Anti-Jewishness, this really fantastic book. Natalie's showing it over there. He is contributing a number of copies of the printed book as well as the digital book to us Rotary members in support of our DEI efforts. So the books themselves, the paperback is worth $25. And the digital ebook is worth between $5 and $10, but we're asking everybody to be as generous as they possibly can be in an effort to support the amazing work of our DEI committee. So Erin, thank you very, very much for that. Thank you. I want to just mention, now that we're at the end of the year, polio update. One wild poliovirus case was registered in Afghanistan out of 29 cases this year. No reported cases in Pakistan, with just one reported this year. We're so close, so close. We have a new club brochure, which we would love to get feedback for. I know that some of you have already given us feedback online and what have you. There is a copy of the upside down version on your table, but you can have a look and let us know what you think. Thank you so much to Kyla Cox-Deckard for having helped us with the design. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Want to remind you about the Teachers Warehouse Fund Supply Drive on July 22nd. Anne was telling me earlier on that we no longer need 50 volunteers, we need 25, which means that she has approximately 25 already committed. So if you haven't made contact with Anne about it, please do so. The sign up link in the roundabout is on the left-hand side down towards the volunteer opportunities. So take a look at that when you get the roundabout this week as well. We had great living room conversations this week. There were 3 of the 4 this week that happened. I hosted one of them myself, and I was really touched by how amazing the conversation really was throughout that period of time. So hopefully this is something that we will be able to continue. We have time for 2 minutes. Happy dollars. I don't know if we're ready to jump at it, Michael, but it would be great on my final official meeting to have a number of people mention happy dollars, things that are happening in your lives, things that you want to be able to celebrate. And we'll just take 3 in the room and maybe 1 online. How about that?
I'm happy to see so many guests here with us today. A special welcome to Bill Swenson. My goodness, what an amazing Rotarian. And I'm also very happy to have Elizabeth Thompson here, a wonderful Rotarian, 2014, 2016, back with us. So thank you very much.
Yeah, great, excellent. Hey, Mike.
I'd like to have a happy doll, 5 happy dollars to Teachers Warehouse for your year.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so we'll take 1 more. Unfortunately, just 1 more because we really want to get onto our program here.
Well, it kind of snuck up on me, but I have 50 happy dollars for spending a couple of weeks with my whole family on vacation. And also tomorrow is my 43rd wedding anniversary.
Wedding anniversary. Wow, fantastic. And let's see, is there anybody online? Anybody online? Raj Hadawi wants to say something.
I'd like to say something, but not.
Raj, do you want to go first?
Yes, I would. I am very happy to have our presenter and her guest. I'm very happy about Ms. Thompson joining us in the meeting today. For those 4, I'll give $50
wow.
To Rotary and to Teacher Warehouse. In addition, I'll give another $50 honoring the departing president, which I was very impressed. What a year we had, and I'm sure every Rotarian will testify with me on the magnificent year we went through under your leadership, Elan. And thank you.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Raj. It's a very touching set of remarks. Thank you. I much, much appreciate that. Somebody else online wanted to say something as well, I believe. Or was it Raj? Okay, good. I think we're good to go. Excellent. Well, thank you all so much. Let's move on now with our program. Yeah. Oh, Phil Eskew, did you want to say something?
I did, actually. On Saturday, the Eye Association presented me with the President's Award, which was given to someone who has contributed to the IU athletic program, essentially recognizing my 12 years of being the trustee liaison for the varsity club and chair of the facilities committees that enhanced all of the athletic facilities here in town. So it was a very nice award. Thank you.
Congratulations, Phil. Phil is a treasure not only to Bloomington, but to the state of Indiana. It's really great that you're appreciated in that way. Excellent. Thank you so much, Teresa Claire, for greeting and welcoming everybody. Joy, likewise online. Megan, so great to have you with us as well. Judy's going to be reporting for this month. She's finishing out her month. Michael Shermis, thank you much for helping as well as Tyler. Always very, very thankful for everything that you do. Okay, Winston Schindel, I think we're going to have you come up and introduce our guest.
You know, one of the greatest and most fulfilling experiences that a person can have is being part of something that brings all sectors of the community together. That would be private, public, and nonprofit, to work together to support a much needed service. I got that opportunity about 18 years ago when Raj Hadawi approached me and asked if I would serve on a group in making his dream for Bloomington a reality. The founding of Volunteers in Medicine fulfilled that dream. One of my fondest memories was accompanying Raj to visit Bill Cook and to ask for support. Raj made his pitch. Bill listened, and then he said, you know, I've been waiting for someone to do this. And how much do you need? Raj, without missing a beat, said $600,000. Bill turned to his staff and said, do it. And he also said, if you need other support, please don't hesitate to call. And over the years, I know that Elizabeth, other members of the board called, and Cook was always there. Our speaker today, Shelley. Oh, one other thing I need to tell you, that $600,000 was put into a reserve account. We never had to touch it. And the reason for that is that the community, all of these sectors that we talked about, came together to make it a reality. Our speaker today, Shelley Sallee, was one of the original professional staff of Volunteers in Medicine, and as well as Elizabeth, our Rotarian. Shelley has served as Assistant Director for 12 years. In January of 2020, VIM Clinic was acquired and became part of HealthNet, and she became the center manager for that. She has served as a member of the City of Bloomington's Commission on Hispanic and Latino Affairs, on a steering committee for inclusion and diversity, or MCCSC, and served on the Interfaith Immigration Task Force. Sort of notice a thing going there. I think sounds like a potential new member for Rotary. Let me just say that I thoroughly enjoyed working with Shelley during those early years. I was always impressed with her professionalism, her dedication, and her compassion for those served by VIM. So Shelley, please come forward. Take us on the journey from Volunteers in Medicine to HealthNet.
Thank you so much, Winston. And it is so good to see a lot of familiar faces out here. I am just delighted. And I have to say, I got a little emotional listening to this. This is quite a story. I'm gonna have to really speed through this. And I may need some help here. All right. All right. Let me just move. What do I hit to move it? Well, which one? Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure why I can't do that. Winston told a little bit about the history. We can't talk about the history of HealthNet without talking about the history of volunteers in medicine. We are meshed together, and we will always forever be meshed together. And I have to thank, he told the story of Raj and how Raj went out into the community. Elizabeth Thompson, the first executive director of Volunteers in Medicine, went out into the community as well to gather volunteers and get us going. And boy, did we go. We did very, very well for 13 years. And I think that is because of the community that we live in that are so caring and supportive. What we found, though, was there were still a lot of people that were not receiving care and that needed care. And after 13 years, we realized we needed to expand our services. We needed to look differently. We needed to continue to care for those who were uninsured, but we realized that it was very limited for many of our patients who had insurance. So that's when we started looking around, trying to find out who we could merge with, what was out there so that we could help more of our community. Several of us and board members traveled around the state. We interviewed a lot of federally qualified health centers to get to know and try to get to know what their mission was. And we met with HealthNet and realized that their mission very much matched ours. And as Winston said, in January 2nd of 2020, we opened our doors. We also started a renovation at the small clinic at that time. I have to say it was cozy, it was crammed. We had a lot going on at that time. And then on January 13th of that year, I put up my first sign saying that we are screening people for COVID. So we opened the clinic, we started renovating, and we had a pandemic. And I was trying to hire people during a pandemic when we were in half of the building. For those of you have been in there, it was tiny. I had 3 people in my office, Elizabeth. We were shoulder to shoulder. It was crazy. But by golly, people came and they liked the mission. They liked what they heard. And I was able to hire people. And I kept saying, it will get better. It will get better. We'll have more room. The pandemic's going to go away. Well, it didn't, but we made it through it. And we are doing really well on the other side of that. So let me tell you a little bit about HealthNet. And one of the reasons why we joined them is a lot of their mission. They agreed and supported our idea that healthcare is for everybody, regardless of their ability to pay. And that was the first thing that really connected with us so that we could move forward with that. All right, I can look here. I don't have to look there. I can look at you guys. So I'll continue to talk a little bit about the clinic. HealthNet is, the corporation is located in Indianapolis. They have a total of 9 health centers. We are the first health center outside of Marion County. So this was a big deal for them. And so there was a lot of educating. There was a lot of me saying, that doesn't happen in Bloomington, or that will not work in Bloomington. And at first I thought, oh my gosh, they're not going to like that at all. No, they were very open. They really listened to that. They recognized that it was a different culture. It was a different community that may have different needs. And I'll talk about that in a minute. We also have a mobile health unit. We were able to get that up and running during the pandemic, which allowed us to go out into the community. They go out in Marion County, as Morgan County, and they're in Ellettsville twice a week in Bloomington, or in Ellettsville twice a week. They also, which I absolutely love this, they have 11 school-based clinics, and these are providers that are providing healthcare for students in 11 community schools in Indianapolis. And I think that is wonderful, and it is needed, and it seems to be expanding because the need is there. We also have a program that I'm going to talk a little bit more about, healthcare for the homeless. They started probably 35 years ago, I think, in Indianapolis. They're very well established in Indianapolis for the help that they provide the homeless. And I'll talk a little bit more about that because we have this need here in Bloomington. And this again is where HealthNet said, let's look at the community and see what your community needs. And we needed a lot. So the services we provide are not necessarily unlike what we had at Volunteers in Medicine. In some ways, I say it's on steroids, and then other things that we are not able to provide. Because now that we're a federally qualified health center, we do have to follow the rules and regulations set out by HRSA, which is a part of the Health and Human Services. I would say for me, that was the hardest adjustment to make because it was the VIM clinic. We had a board, we just made decisions and we got things done. Well, now we have all of these rules we have to follow. But we're still able to do what we wanted to do. We provide adult medicine, primary care. For those of you who have been around, Dr. Sutliff, who was with Premier Healthcare for many years as a cardiologist, he is with us. He's dual board certified. He does primary care with us. We are delighted that he continued to stay with us. Dr. Sarah Tiemann, she taught with the IU School of Medicine for several years. She has joined us and she is delightful. We love that. We also have a provider who is certified in providing gender affirming care, which we are delighted to have this in our community. There is such a need for trans care and he is delightful. And this has been really a great outreach program for our community. We also have a full-time pediatrician. And so we're very excited. The VIM clinic, we didn't see children. We only saw adults. So now we have babies, we have children all the way up to seniors, and whole families can walk into the clinic. And we do see that, which is just delightful. We love that. We continue to have women's health and offer OB for our patients. The VIM clinic, almost from the beginning, we received funding from the Monroe County Health Department to provide prenatal care for patients who do not qualify for insurance. They will qualify for emergency Medicaid, which will cover their delivery only, but no prenatal care. So that started many years ago with the VIM clinic, and I'm very happy to say the health department has continued to fund that program. So we continue to provide prenatal care for the patients. So we've got healthy mamas, we got healthy babies being delivered, and that continues to go on. We're happy with that. We have an on-site laboratory. We connect with, let me think, LabCorp. And so we have an on-site tech there. So everything can happen in-house for the patient. Doesn't make it so difficult. They don't have to leave to get their lab work done. We have a full-time behavioral health therapist who's available for our patients. We also have psych services. And this is pretty exciting because if anybody who is in healthcare, you know that finding a psychiatrist or a psych MP is really difficult. And just a really brief little story. Well, first, let me introduce folks. I've got Melissa Burgess, who is our coordinator for our Homeless Initiative program, and our social worker, Lisa Robinson, is with us. And I'll probably talk a little bit about them, but I gotta really hurry. I have so much to share. But the psych services were pretty exciting to us. When Melissa came down to find out what we needed for our community, it became really evident that our homeless people needed medical care, they needed psych services. And that is just so hard to find. They would come into the clinic, but then we couldn't ever follow up with them because then we wouldn't see them for 6 more months. I met with our medical director, Melissa was with us, and we kept saying, we need psych, we need psych. And he's like, well, good luck. You know, that's hard to find. We can't find it. It was meant to be that Bloomington, Indiana got a psych provider because what was it? 2 weeks later, we received an application of a psych MP who wanted to work with the Homeless Initiative program and go out onto the streets. It was meant to be. It was just meant to be. So she works 1 day a week within the clinic, and then she's out on the streets with the team the remaining 4 days. It's pretty impressive. It really, really is impressive. We also have an on-site dentist. Right now, we have a dentist who's traveling from Indianapolis because our dentist retired. So if anybody knows a dentist that wants to work in an awesome place, this is the place to be because we're really fun and we're great and it's a great group. But we are continuing to provide dental care and we will continue because by golly, we're going to find a dentist to help us. We continue to have pharmacy support. The VIM clinic had a full-time pharmacist who was amazing. His name is Ed. He's a pharmacist like you've never seen before. He developed his own program at Volunteers in Medicine of medication management that was unbelievable. We really saw patients' behaviors changing and health outcomes improving. HealthNet was very impressed with that. They had one pharmacist when they joined us, when they got to know Ed, they started letting Ed do what Ed does, and he did it so well. They now have 6 pharmacists that he is training to go into all of the clinics to work with patients to do medication management. And again, that is where I was so pleased that HealthNet was so open to seeing what we were doing and what we had done well in Bloomington and allowing us to continue to do that, but also expand on it. We also have a lot of support services. We have navigators on site who can help patients get enrolled in Medicaid and Medicare, the marketplace. They work with a lot of the staff on this. As I said earlier, that we will see patients regardless of their ability to pay. We have a sliding fee discount program that's based on family income and family size. Again, if they can't afford it, we will work with it. We have a fund that I'm just going to skip down to the HealthNet Foundation, houses some of the money that was left over from the Volunteers in Medicine Clinic has been placed with the HealthNet Foundation for a patient assistance fund. Our social worker will work very closely with patients who need support and assistance. There's an application they fill out. I have to say, one of the committee members for the HealthNet Foundation committee, Melinda Swenson, is here, and she helps review those applications and see what they need, and then the funding is made. And we use this for if they need to go to a specialist and they can't afford the cost of seeing the specialist, if they need a colonoscopy, if they need an MRI, if they need a mammogram, and they do not have the money. Most of the time, this is always with patients that don't qualify for any kind of health insurance. If they have insurance, we will help make sure that they can get on insurance and that it's covered. Sometimes insurance will have a copay that they can't afford, so we will look at that as well. Lisa, our social worker, is bilingual. She speaks Spanish, so she works very closely with the Spanish-speaking community. The HealthNet Foundation also houses the prenatal fund that the health department has given us. So she works closely with patients on that, helping them fill out the application. And it's pretty darn rewarding to see that people are getting the care they need, that otherwise without it, they wouldn't. You can see we also have health education, dietitians, again, our social work. We have some funding that we receive for transportation. We also have HIV support services. We have a young man who is the PrEP navigator, which I think is an interesting title. But he works very closely with our providers to help educate patients about PrEP, which is a medication for preventing the transmission of HIV. Also something very needed in our community, and we're just really happy to have that. Here is the HealthNet Foundation. You can see we do try to keep local people involved in HealthNet. Marcus Debro, who is a local vice principal at North High School. He is on the HealthNet Foundation board. As I said, Melinda Swenson, who's here today, is on the committee with the HealthNet Foundation. And then we also have representatives for the HealthNet board that are from Bloomington. So I appreciate so much that they do try to bring us in. Just real quick utilization. We had roughly in 2022, 2,800 patients that we saw. This was way down than what we had expected. And a lot of that had to do with the pandemic. It was very difficult for us to get out and do any kind of communication and marketing. We were very limited on that. However, it is really picking up now. So I would say this year it's going to be significantly more than that. You can see, and I think this is really significant, prior to us joining HealthNet, we only saw people without insurance. Right now, 25% of the patients that we see are people without insurance. Almost half, 46, 47% are people with Medicaid. So we are seeing a really diverse group of people, and we will see anybody with any insurance, and we do. We see a variety of people that like us and just want to come and see us and are very comfortable with us. And then the income level, I think this is really telling. 75% of our patients make less than $10,000 a year. And I will say most of those folks work. And I think that's really telling. But we are providing care for them. All right, really quickly, I know I don't have a ton of time. The Homeless Initiative Program is incredible. And I'm going to move really quickly here. Here are the goals, is to go out into the community, eliminate barriers to healthcare experienced by the unhoused clients. Let me just move on. Here is the team. These are amazing women that are out on the streets every single day taking care of the people in our community. We have 2 nurse practitioners, and then we have 1 psychiatric nurse practitioner. We have Melissa, who's our coordinator, and we have 2 of the most amazing young women who are our outreach workers, and they connect with the patients. They're the ones that start the transaction. They're out there meeting the patient. They're building trust so that we can then provide them care. The nurse practitioners are going to where they go, and here they are working every day. And I think this is so powerful. They are in the woods, they're in the encampments. You can see Abby is doing some wound care. We go where they are, meet them where their needs are, and build that trust. Here's another one of my favorite. Oh. Here's our psychiatric nurse practitioner meeting with a patient at where she is living. The patient was really concerned about her work sitting on a log, so she gave her a pillow so she would be comfortable. This is what they do every day, and they make such an impact on lives. With the VIM clinic, with HealthNet prior to us getting the HIP program, we would see patients and then we would never see them again. And it was so frustrating to not be able to do follow-up care. Since they've started a year, and it's somewhere like 139 patients have been scheduled at our clinic. Of those, 69% have shown up for their appointments. And I can't tell you how, I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, Elizabeth knows, 69%. And we have kept those patients out of the emergency room, which is part of what our goal is. The reason this has happened is, and I get really emotional about this, is the trust that the patients have developed with that lovely, lovely group that go out every day and don't judge them and care about them and show compassion and show kindness. And we were able to connect with them. And I have so many stories that I would love to share with you, but my time is up and I want to answer questions. So. I'm so sorry.
I think what we'll do is we'll go on for about 5 minutes beyond the hour. So.
Thank you. Thank you very much for everything you do. I know how important that is. And my question is, I have people that work with me and they have very spotty medical care. Do you help coordinate? Is there a way if people get to health care that you can help coordinate their health care? Because otherwise they go to this place and that place, and it's not coordinated at all.
Absolutely. That is really, we have a team that we will help. Oh gosh, I have so many stories. Yes, we have a social worker that will help coordinate their care and find out where the barriers are. And then we try to break down those barriers and help them.
Now that COVID is considered ended and thousands of people in Indiana have been dropped from Medicaid.
Right.
Do those people at your clinic continue to get care?
Absolutely.
And do you have adequate staff to help them reestablish their Medicaid insurance?
We started months ago notifying patients that they would be losing their Medicaid, and we are getting them on. We're keeping them on. So yes, we've been actively working on that for a long time with our navigators, and we will continue to see them. It's yes. Yeah.
I'm super excited about the homeless program.
Thank you.
And how can we help, and what kind of help do you need as a community? Because I think that's something that could grow and really make an impact.
It's huge. You know, I hate to say funding is a big deal. They are completely grant funded. They have a brilliant, in my opinion, brilliant director who's great at writing grants, and that is what she is doing, and she just keeps this going. I think that's true. I think if I can say, spreading the word, letting people know that the unhoused and the homeless are people too, and that we need to remember that it's not a choice. It's frequently not a choice, that they have a story. And we need to all remember that and work together as a community. And I think we always have worked very well as a community. I think the pandemic has kind of separated us at times, so that we need to come back together as a community. I will say our HIP team works very closely with the IU Health emergency department. Again, I have so many stories I'd love to share, but they work well together. Our goal is not to do this by ourselves, but to work with the community, and we do well. We work with Beacon. We work with whoever is willing to work with us, to tell you the truth, because it's all about caring for the patient. Thanks.
Do we have anybody online?
Yes, I am so impressed with the young Shelley presenting the service to the community. Thank you so much.
If I can just say one more thing, is that Raj, your dream lives on. You started this, and now I'm going to get really emotional, but he did. He started it, and he was pushy. He would not take no for an answer with anybody, and I love that. Being a volunteer coordinator, he helped get this going, and we have just been able to move his dream and on. And I am so grateful to be able to be a part of it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and really just extraordinary. And before you go, before you leave the podium, I want to just quickly mention we have a small gift. It's a very small gift, but every quarter we support an agency in town that we choose out of a random what's it called? Drawing, a random drawing, and HealthNet happens to be the one for this quarter.
Thank you.
An extraordinary organization. Wow. Dreams and how and imagining what might be possible in our community. So just to let you know that we're not going to be meeting next week being the 4th of July, we're going to take a break, and then we will be meeting again 11th of July. And I believe that Ron Barnes will be in charge of that meeting. So very much looking forward to that. And we'll just celebrate the new year together with Ron. So that's what we're going to be doing, and that's going to be in the Frangipani room, right? Okay. So a new era is in front of us here. let us just share the 4-weight+1 test, and that'll be it for today. So of the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun? Thank you all so much.